Soft tissue injuries, take 5, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to The Legal View with Farah Farah. I'm Eddie Farah, and with me here today is Chuck Farah, and we're going to talk about soft tissue injuries. What are the most common type of injuries that a personal injury attorney works with when someone's been injured in an accident are soft tissue injuries, also referred to as sprains or strain type injuries. Insurance companies take a really hard line on these cases because they say these injuries can't be seen on an X-ray, MRI, or CAT scan, and therefore do not exist. They even have doctors that they employ and they bring to court who try to testify that these soft tissue injuries are either non-existent in this particular person or that if he did have them, they're going to go away within a short period of time. But we know that these injuries can be debilitating and serious. Over our years of practice, some of the worst cases we've seen have been in situations involving these soft tissue injuries. Ligaments can be stretched, muscles traumatized, tendons damaged. All this results in microscopic bleeding, which results in scar tissue, which results in people having limited ranges of motion and constant pain. Chuck, what can we do as attorneys to help prove that our client's been injured with these soft tissue injuries?
Yeah, what we do is we make sure that the client is treating with a doctor who has a lot of experience treating soft tissue injuries. It's very important that the doctor is qualified to handle those injuries. The next thing we do is we look at the medical records and we study them. What we look for in the medical records are first, what are the pain scales of the client? And if, we'll chart the pain scales, and because every time the client goes in to treat with the doctor, the client will be asked, what is your pain level today? And we'll chart those levels throughout the case to show the jury or the adjuster that there's consistent pain. The next thing we do is we look at the range of motion measurements taken by either the physical therapist or the medical doctor. And those restricted, or if the range of motion of the neck or the back is limited, then we chart those limitations also.
What about family members and coworkers? How can they assist in determining whether this person has a legitimate soft tissue injury?
Right, and that's the everyday testimony or the everyday evidence of the injury. Typically, we will talk with coworkers or family members or neighbors and ask them to describe how the client is limited from this automobile accident or from this soft tissue injury compared to how they were functioning prior to the automobile accident. And that difference goes a long way in proving the injury.
Yeah, you talked about the physical therapists and the doctors, and I know a lot of times people have muscle spasms from these injuries. How does that come into determining or proving that person's got an injury?
Right. Well, earlier you mentioned that it's hard to show a soft tissue injury because they don't show up on an X-ray or they don't show up on an MRI. But one way to objectively prove a soft tissue injury is by feeling a muscle spasm. And that is a real thing. That is actually happening. It's an abnormal condition of the muscle, and the medical doctor, and especially the physical therapist, can actually describe that and feel that and put it in and actually record it in their notes and their medical records. And that goes a long way on trying to prove those injuries.
Well, I think you brought up a good point, the regular treatment, because the insurance company doctors are going to see you one time and say, oh, this person doesn't have an injury, I don't see anything wrong with them.